This is the maturation series for a monocyte. You start with monoblast, promonocytes, monocytes. Okay, so once it reaches the peripheral blood, they mature into a proper monocyte, and they can even get into the tissues. Okay, so once it reaches the tissues, it is called as they are called as macrophages. Okay, they can be immature and mature, but in the tissue it is labeled as macrophages. In the peripheral blood they are monocytes. This is a picture wherein you can see different series of maturation for the monocyte. Okay. Next is lymphopoiesis. The same follows for lymphocytes also. Okay, lymphocytes are agranulocytes. Which is the other agranulocyte, you know? They are monocytes. Okay, so you start off with pluripotent stem cells and you have committed stem cells. You have a lymphoblast, pro-lymphocyte, and from a lymphocyte they mature into B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. Okay, B, why? Because it matures from the bone marrow, that's why it is called as B lymphocyte. T, because it matures from the thymus, that is another type also called as natural killer cells. These are the three types of lymphocytes present. Okay, so this is the mature, this is a premature, that is a lymphoblast with a prominent nucleoli. Okay, this is a myeloblast and a lymphoblast. This is a plasma cell. What is a plasma cell? It is a type of a lymphocyte. Okay, basically they are arising from B lymphocytes, that is from the bone marrow, that's why they are plasma cells. How do you describe a plasma cell? They are larger cells with an eccentrically placed nucleus and a perinuclear halo or a perinuclear half. Okay, and it is elevated in cases, it is increased in cases of multiple myeloma. So this is the composition of a bone marrow. You can start off with premature forms, then you have mature WBCs, you have plasma cells, megakaryocytes, erythroblasts and macrophages. This proportion you need to know them. Okay, especially of that of plasma cells and the blast forms. Now these are the this is a peripheral smear picture. How what you should know is you need to know how to differentiate each WBC. So a neutrophil, as you know in physiology, you might have learnt all these things, right? A neutrophil has 2 to 5 nucleoli, right? And it has a large cytoplasm with granules in it. Whereas a lymphocyte, what happens? It has a large nucleus and a scanty basophilic cytoplasm. Eosinophils have coarse granules, orange red coarse granules in the cytoplasm, and the nucleus, it is bilobe nucleus. Okay, and this picture which you are seeing here is the platelets, right? This is a lymphocyte and this is a peripheral smear picture showing a lymphocyte and a neutrophil. Can you appreciate the lobes of the neutrophil and the granules in the cytoplasm? Okay, the background what you're seeing is all RBCs and a small 1 or 2 platelets here and there. Okay, this is an eosinophil and a mature lymphocyte. Okay, now coming to the lymph node. Okay, what is the structure of the lymph node? As we know, it has a cortex and a medulla, right? The histology, you have studied all those things, and you have B type of lymphocytes and T type of lymphocytes, right? So B arises from the cortical part, and then you have the within the medulla you have the T lymphocytes, right? This is the normal bone marrow constituents, as we have dealt with all these things. Here, our area of interest is the granulocytes. Now, differential count is important for you. You should know it in and out. Okay, you should know it is usually expressed in the form of percentage. So, what is the ideal? Polymorphs are called as neutrophils. Okay, ideally it should be within 40 to 70 or 75%. Lymphocytes are between 20 to 40, monocytes 2 to 10, eosinophils between 1 to 6%, and basophils are less than 1. This is very, very important for you. You should know this. Okay, so this is a peripheral smear picture wherein you can see all the forms. Okay, so here this is an eosinophil, here you have a basophil, you have neutrophil, this is a lymphocyte, this is a band form of a neutrophil, okay, and this is the monocyte. Clear? Now, how will you classify WBC disorders? WBC disorders are classified into qualitative and quantitative. Quantitative means there is a defect in the number. Qualitative means a defect in the quality of the WBCs. That means they can be hypolobated or less lobes, or there are other forms. I'll tell you all those things later. Okay. Quantitative is that means there is a defect in the quantity. They can be either increased or it can be decreased. Increased count is called as leukocytosis. Reduced count is called as leukocytopenia or leukopenia. Okay. So, what are the causes for an increased WBC count or leukocytosis? It can either be a reactive form or it can be neoplastic. Okay, malignancy, any form of malignancy, or it can be just a reactive form. Okay, so this is a condition, peripheral smear, wherein you are seeing neutrophilia. Can you see in one field you are seeing so many neutrophils? Okay, so now you should know what is a normal neutrophil count. What is a normal neutrophil count? It is between 40 to 70 or 75%. So anything beyond 70 you can label it as neutrophilia. Okay, and the absolute count should be more than 8,000 per millimeter cube. Now let's see what are the causes for neutrophilia. This is a very, very common Viva question. Okay, when you come for practicals, this is a favorite Viva question. So you always start off with physiological causes and pathological causes, right? When you give your answer, you have to answer in this form, that is, give it as physiological causes and pathological causes. Now, what are the physiological causes? You know, it is stress. Stress is a major factor that will cause neutrophilia, and exercise, and in newborn. Okay, these are the physiological causes. Now let's see what are the pathological causes. You have acute bacterial infection, acute inflammation. In acute, as you have known, just say initial phases, right? Any form of acute inflammation or acute infection, neutrophils are the first attacking WBCs that will come and target. Okay, and in cases of tissue destruction also it is important. Neutrophilia you will get in necrosis, hemorrhage, and acute stress and other myeloproliferative disorders. So these are the common causes for neutrophilia. This is very, very important. This slide is very important. Please mark it, and you should know the important causes. Okay, it should be in your fingertips. Right now, there is a condition called as leukemioid reaction. I'll tell you all those things later. There is another slide. Okay, now what is neutropenia? Neutropenia means a reduction in the neutrophil count. That is, the absolute count was neutrophilia, it was more than 8,000, right? So here for neutropenia it should be around 1,500, in that range. Okay, in cases of recurrent attacks of bacterial or fungal infection, you will have neutropenia. Okay, a recurrency, that means recurrently you are getting some form of infection, or it could be inadequate production or increased destruction. What are the causes for inadequate production? It is aplastic anemia, marrow is getting infiltrated, or granulomatous diseases, certain radiation, certain chemicals, or certain malignancies can even cause neutropenia. Increased destruction, it is usually autoimmune disorders or any form of drugs, or some other causes where spleen is absorbing all the blood. Okay, splenic sequestration happens, or some idiopathic causes. Okay, so what is this? How will you differentiate these? This is a peripheral blood smear wherein you are seeing eosinophils. Okay, eosinophils, how will you describe them? These are bilobed with coarse orange red granules. Okay, this is eosinophilia. Now tell me some causes for eosinophilia. This is also important. Invariably you will be asked in Viva. Okay, you have allergic conditions, any form of skin disorders or parasitic infections in asthma, hay fever, farmer's lung, or which is the malignancy? Important Viva question. Which is the malignancy that causes where you will find eosinophilia? It is chronic myeloid leukemia. You will learn all these things later, okay, in the future hematology classes. And Hodgkin's lymphoma, you will find eosinophilia. Now, causes for basophilia and monocytosis. Some of the causes for basophilia is chronic myeloid leukemia, lymphoproliferative disorders, mastocytosis, and post-splenectomy. Okay, for monocytosis, any form of chronic infection you should remember, or inflammatory bowel disorders, autoimmune disorders, sarcoidosis, hematological malignancies, etc. Okay, so these are the other causes. So this is a lymphocyte, a mature lymphocyte. Now we'll see what are the causes for lymphocytosis. Again, this is a favorite viva question. You should know all these things. Okay, lymphocytosis, it is can be again labeled as physiological and pathological. Physiological, it is usually seen among infants and in young children. It is common, it is normal to find lymphocytes in the peripheral blood. Then you have pathological is viral infections, certain bacterial infections like typhoid, pertussis, etc., HIV, chronic lymphoid leukemia, and in cases of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, when you get a spillover into the peripheral blood from the bone marrow. Okay, so all these things we will deal in detail in the future classes. Okay, now next, so we are done with the quantitative disorders. Now we have qualitative disorders. You will have normal, for example, normal neutrophil count or normal lymphocyte count, but qualitatively they are defective. Okay, so let's see what are the causes. One is toxic granules. Can you see the granules? These are neutrophils with abundant coarse granules in the cytoplasm. That is usually seen in acute infections. Okay, so if you can appreciate the granules in the neutrophils are not this coarse. Okay, they are fine granules. Okay, next, so when you find more of band forms, more of metamyelocytes, that is more of immature neutrophils, it is called as shift to left. A peripheral smear showing shift to left. Okay, can you appreciate this? Can you see the lobes there? This is a normal neutrophil with what? With hypersegmented. Okay, what is the normal segments? It is between 2 to 5. So when you get beyond that, it is called as hypersegmented neutrophils. This is a right shift. That's what we say. Okay, here you can see that the shift is, that is neutrophil lobes are 6 to 7 lobes. Okay, then these are called as Chidiaque-Higashi anomaly. Again, you can see the granules there and some coarse granules. Some actually these are some some inclusions within the cytoplasm. Felger-Haut anomaly, this is nothing but hypolobated forms of the neutrophils. Neutrophils are exactly, they have 2 to 5 lobes, right? So here it is hypolobated forms. Okay, so there we finish our WBC disorders introduction. So the rest of the topics will be dealt in detail, wherein you will know more and more of disorders related to WBCs. Okay, thank you.